Yes, and I remember that. I remember it was like really specific and like really it was just a nice cut and dry piece. I think you only took sort of like the meat of what the part was, and it was just like a lot of really good moments to audition with, and I was like just impressed that because I haven't had. Just rarely do you get to have your, like sink your teeth into something. I mean, I thought it was an interesting idea. I guess I was sort of like kind of rereading the script to see if any of them overlapped, but what was sort of overlapping about them was the title. It was all in the same place, and there like the connection was right there. So I was like looking for something a little more like literal, and it was not, but it was all like in there, like the connections between people and how they relate, and was all there. Well, I mean, I think did I read with you? I read with you, so. And because you're an actor, it was a lot. It was just easier to get concentrated and to work off of you because you're not a reader in some casting director's office. You're not some assistant, just sort of, not that, you should be able to act off a wall. It doesn't matter, like that's your job. But because it was you and you're an actor and you were in the film and you were in the play and obviously wrote it and stuff, but like it was easier to sort of get exactly what you were looking for because you were giving me that moment. And so the next moment came off of that. So I remember that as being like, oh, like I could tell that you were an actor, even though I knew you were the director and stuff, but I could tell. Yeah, I do. I was in Florida.
And what are you thinking? Oh, no.
No, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'd throw myself in front of a cab to work, especially on something that was, was like a good solid piece, Well, I remember thinking like, we got a day of rehearsal for a film? Like, that's just unheard of. Normally you get 10 minutes. And so I was really, I don't know. I just thought it was really, it reminded me of rehearsing for a theater because it was, you just let us find it, it was like so organic. And I remember just thinking like, what a gift to have an entire day of rehearsals and then to just like take out, and you worked with the camera and sort of like let us feel comfortable with the camera being there and following us around, but also just working on it as two actors working on it, and Michael and Sarah, and that was huge. What a gift. So, well, yeah, I mean, it's like, the kind of interesting thing about it is that it makes you think that the work, not that I've done a ton of work on film, but when you know that when you pick something up and you start to work on it and you leave yourself alone and you get more relaxed as you work, you grow and you start to find things and you start to become more unself-conscious and things change, and you work differently the 20th time than you would the second time. And usually when you shoot, I mean, you do a lot of takes for just a regular film, but you don't get to go that far, and it's mostly the things that they change are technical or it's angles or something. But I remember thinking like, probably never again will I get to see, or will I get to experience having such a big rehearsal process and kind of coming so far in a part in a film. I mean, unless you're like on location for 3 years or something and you're like working so intensely, but like in the amount of time that we had to shoot it compared with the amount of time I've worked on other projects, it was like I got to find so much more because of that huge slot of time we got to work with it. So
right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Did
yeah.
You go to the
Yeah, I totally did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did. What did I think this? Well, I mean, like I said, I think actually when I saw it, what the sort of like the cumulative effect of it was so clear, and that was really nice because I think when you read something and it is sort of stylized as a bunch of different stories, sometimes it's harder to see the connection, but like when it was all said and done, it was really, really clear. And it was just sort of about, I mean, to me, it was like people trying to get at each other and missing, but sort of taking what they can get at the same time. It's just like we're all sort of attempting to connect with one another, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it sort of reminded me of like batting practice, like there was a lot of contact being made but nothing was like hit out of the park, you know what I mean? But like in that contact it was like, oh, it's or like I'm trying to think of like I think the last story sort of like which I thought was so great about having it last with was it David and
Callie,
and sort of their they're coming together and missing and coming together and missing, and he wants it and then she wants it and then he doesn't and she does, and it's like there's so much there, and it didn't have to be this fairy tale ending. I mean, nothing was, I mean, at all, but it was just like within that attempt to connect, an attempt to have contact, there was so much. And I just feel like it was about that. That's very, very vague. But I like that about this story. It was specific in the writing, but the point is that like we don't always connect with people even though we want to, and but you learn, and like even within that pain there's humanity, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Again, vague, but you know, I think that was, it's like honestly the first time I'd really ever watched myself on tape. So besides the fact of me being like, whoa, you know, like, like half can't look at myself and half like, oh my God, like this is what we did, this is awesome. So it was sort of mixed with my own personal like ego, like, oh God, Sarah, like stop twitching your face, or, you know, whatever like habits that we do that like we see ourselves and we're like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, what was really interesting was like sort of, it was and it wasn't. I mean, it was, I don't know how much time had elapsed. I don't really know if that matters or not, but like since we shot it and saw it, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess so. That's kind of a weird question for me because I'm so like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even like, yeah, what I saw, that's what we did, I guess, you know. Like, I don't know, but I did. You picked up on tape, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess sometimes what surprised me more was seeing Michael, more so than myself. I don't know, just because there are just, maybe it's just the takes that you used, and sometimes I didn't remember those takes, so it was like, oh, wow, you know, like, that was interesting.
You know.
Yeah, but this, I mean, like, but you had explained to us how you were shooting and how your style, you know, what you were doing, and it was, I mean, that was just so much more. I didn't care about that stuff. I mean, like the first time you're on a set, you're like, wow, this is awesome, you know,
Right.
craft services. But what was really exciting was the chance to really do it, and the chance to be private, and the chance to let go. I mean, not that you can't do that with 25 people around you. I mean, that's also your job, but as an actor, but no, I mean, I thought, good, more room to work, you know, more time to work, more space to work, you know.